Greetings and welcome to Pop Culture Beasts Halloween Horror Picks. I'm your host, Ryan Stockstead, and today's episode is brought to you by Bonaparte House Films, a Los Angeles production company committed to bringing the projects they believe in to life, and Basement Shorts, a semi-monthly short film screening series in Los Angeles. Be sure to like both Bonaparte House Films and Basement Shorts on Facebook for more info. Today we're going to talk about an early 80s ghost movie that Martin Scorsese called one of the scariest horror movies of all time. And it's not Poltergeist.
Why does he attack you, Carla? Not anyone else.
Why is she going to such lengths to support this delusion?
And they will find more than evidence. They will find the entity.
The Entity was completed in 1981, but not released until late 1982, and actually not in the States until early 1983. I'm not sure why it sat on the shelf for so long, but while it's likely the success of the Amityville Horror in 1979 got the project greenlit, the success of Poltergeist probably got it released.
Did you hear that? You did hear that, didn't you? I heard it, Mommy.
The Entity stars Barbara Hershey, Ron Silver, Margaret Blye, and David Labiosa. It was directed by Sidney J. Furie, who is perhaps best known as an action director, having made Iron Eagle and some of its sequels, Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, and a personal favorite of mine, The Taking of Beverly Hills. But he did make a few forgotten horror movies in the early days of his career, notably The Snake Woman and Dr. Blood's Coffin, both released in 1961. The Entity is among his best and most visually arresting work, in part because it was shot by Brian De Palma's longtime cinematographer, Stephen H. Burham. Burham uses his command of both lighting and composition to fantastic effect. The film's trademark cockeyed angles really keep the audience off balance, which adds much to the terror. I should add that Burham is no stranger to the genre. His horror movie cinematography includes Death Valley, The Bride, and another favorite of mine, Something Wicked This Way Comes.
You want to appear. You want to appear because you're a devil out of hell. And you're afraid.
The Entity is about a single mother, Carla Moran, played by Barbara Hershey, who finds herself the victim of an evil, unseen, malevolent force. Unlike most horror movie spirits, the ghost in The Entity isn't satisfied with simply moving objects and breaking stuff. This ghost is a rapist. It would be bad enough trying to convince people that you're seeing ghosts, but Carla is claiming to have been repeatedly raped by one. No one believes her, not even her best friend.
Carla, are you taking drugs? No, not on drugs. Well, then I think you need to see a doctor.
So Carla does what any rational, thinking person would do. She visits a psychiatrist, played wonderfully by Ron Silver.
Tell me, is this the first time something like this has ever happened?
No. No, the first time was different. I was raped.
Where, in your home? You were raped by whom?
I don't know. There was no one there.
He believes it's all in her head, that she's externalizing her injuries while suppressing some kind of sexual behavior that she's too ashamed to deal with honestly.
Started to explain to you why.
Yeah, I know what you told me, that terrible things happened to me in my youth, right? Come back to haunt me.
Yeah, essentially.
Well, terrible things did happen to me, and I didn't have a normal childhood, but how many people do? I mean, did you? How many people have a normal?
Some things are more terrible than other things.
But eventually, other people begin to witness the attacks, prompting Carla to abandon her psychiatric treatment for a less traditional solution. Enter parapsychology.
My God, do you smell that? Jesus. It's awful.
You see? I wasn't lying.
Once Carla brings in the team of paranormal researchers, all sorts of activity begins to be witnessed and documented, most prominently lightning and other unexplained light shows, and eventually a luminescent lime green apparition.
Well, isn't it possible that some sort of external intelligence, some discarnate entity has crossed into our plane of existence?
How are we going to prove it?
We have to isolate it. We have to draw it in somehow, find a way to bring it into a controlled situation.
A whole slew of effects artists worked to bring these sequences to life, including Stan Winston, James Cagle, Joe Lombardi, and William Cruz. Cruz notably created the visual effects for the Amityville Horror, Firestarter, and Candyman.
Couldn't this be a head? Couldn't this be shoulder?
We feel that this photograph constitutes proof, Dr. Cooley.
I don't know. Takes a long time before you can come up with something reliable. You have to check every possible alternative.
No conversation about the entity is complete without discussing the iconic Saturn Award-nominated score by Charles Bernstein. Quentin Tarantino even borrowed the film's aggressive electric guitar cue for a scene in *Inglourious Basterds*, when the infamous SS Colonel Hans Landa enters the shot. Bernstein also wrote the memorable film scores for April Fool's Day, Cujo, and A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Now just get it through your head. It's just in her head. There was nobody there. Nobody was there.
Don't tell me that. There was somebody there. I mean, there was. I couldn't see him with my eyes, but there was somebody there. I see this. Like something is pressing her. It's pushing her. I see her breast are being touched. I mean, I see her breast are being squeezed by fingers, only I can't see the fingers.
The Entity was written by Frank De Felitta, based upon his novel, which was itself a highly fictionalized account of a real-life story. I won't delve too deeply into the differences between the movie and the true events, other than to say that many people confuse the two for one and the same. There are critical differences between what happens in the movie and what likely happened in that Culver City home back in 1974. If you're interested, there are plenty of resources to explore online.
Pretty frightening, huh? Bats, werewolves, dragons, demons, all sorts of goblins, okay? They were supposed to abuse people sexually. They were supposed to impregnate people. Do you think these things really existed now?
I'm not stupid.
I didn't say you were stupid, but why do you think these people saw these things, huh? What do you think? Why do you think they saw them?
Reportedly, a remake of The Entity is in the works by King of the Horror Remakes, Roy Lee, who has already produced remakes of Ju-On, Ringu, Dark Water, Shudder, Wreck, The Eye, The Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and most recently, Poltergeist, as well as non-horror remakes, The Lake House, Old Boy, and The Departed. James Wan and Chad and Carrie Hayes are also attached. So, if you like The Conjuring or its sequel, perhaps you'll also enjoy this new version of The Entity. If you're looking for a scary and effective ghost story this Halloween, give The Entity a chance. As scientific, paranormal, horror stories go, it fits in rather nicely with Poltergeist and The Exorcist. So if you like those, The Entity makes a nice companion piece. The version that I watched for this review is the 2012 DVD that Anchor Bay put out. This has some really nice special features, including the trailer and a really enjoyable documentary called The Entity Files that gets into the real-life story. As best I can tell, this is the exact same content that is on the 2005 DVD, which has a different cover, but as I say, otherwise I think it has the exact same special features. Unfortunately, the 2012 Blu-ray that Anchor Bay put out doesn't have any special features. What it does have is a really nice audio upgrade. So if you want to get the best out of those sound effects and that fantastic score, that might be the version you want to pick up.
Don't start without me.
We're doing a very special audience choice episode this season. We've narrowed down your previous votes to just your top 10 favorite horror movies. Go check that out and then vote for any and all that you'd like to see us review. And we'll cover the highest voted movie in the penultimate episode of Season 2. Thanks for watching Pop Culture Beast's Halloween Horror Picks. I'm your host, Ryan Stockstead. Be sure to like Halloween Horror Picks on Facebook and subscribe for new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in October, right here on the Pop Culture Beast YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Watch horror movies. I'll see you next time.